Hello, everybody. My name is Jamaica Leverett, and I'm the Career Advisor with Career Services. And today we have our Sunday Spotlight Sunday with Cheryl Orange.
Hello, everyone. I'm Becca Turner, Director of Career Services at Jacksonville State University. We will get started with our interview with our Alumna of the Year, Ms. Cheryl Orange.
All right. So, Cheryl, Mrs. Orange, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, your hometown, what's your background info, or anything you want to tell us about you?
Okay, well, thank you all for having me. I'm excited to be here and to be a part of the Sunday Spotlight edition. I am Cheryl Bevel Orange. I am a graduate of JSU 1990, Go Gamecocks. And I am from Bessemer, Alabama, although currently I'm living in Frisco, Texas. I have a degree in computer information systems and marketing. And so I am using both of those degrees actually as I am working today. So I am again elated to be here and I'm ready to get started.
All right.
Cheryl, after reading your bio, I can see you have a lot of volunteer experience and community involvement. Tell us a little bit about your volunteer and community involvement that you have there in Frisco, Texas.
Well, I'll start with, I've only been in Frisco for about 5 years now. So I spent quite a bit of time in Memphis, Tennessee, where FedEx headquarters is headquartered. And I worked a lot in the Memphis Mayor Mentoring Program, where I mentored middle school students and a few high school students on their careers and STEM programs. And so I've done a lot of work there. I'm also working here in Dallas with the American Heart Association STEM program, where we have conferences for middle school students, and they come and they get to do experiments. They get to hear from people in the STEM world and hear about STEM experiences. And actually, we're helping them to kind of stay engaged with STEM. We found that a lot of our students, well, early on, middle school is where we needed to capture the students from a STEM perspective, and we needed to keep them engaged and keep them interested. But as years passed on, we found that high school was also a place that we needed to lean in. Because once they get to high school and they get friends and they get other activities, and STEM isn't cool anymore. So we have to lean into the high school to make STEM cool. And so the American Heart Association is helping with that. And then finally, I am the Vice President of Scholarship with the Jacksonville State University Black Alumni Chapter. And there I really work to create ways that people can donate for scholarships. And we've given over $30,000 in scholarships over the last 3 years to students at JSU. So my community involvement spans across middle school, high school, and college at this point. And so it's something that is very dear to me, and something that I am sure I will keep doing.
We definitely appreciate everything that you are doing. I'm sure Frisco is happy to have you. I think emphasizing the STEM, the majors, and those things like that is great for our students and other students and students to know about. So we appreciate everything that you do for JSU and for what you're doing with the STEM programs. So with that being said, let's switch gears. Tell us a little bit about your career and how you think maybe your academics has prepared you for that.
My career, I've been switching back and forth between IT and marketing. So I started my career actually in career services at JSU. I didn't work there, but they helped me to get a job once I was ready to graduate. so I used the Career Services office. I interviewed at JSU for my first job with Army Air Force Exchange Service. And I started out as a manager of a BX, and that's a basic exchange. So that was my marketing career or my marketing knowledge or degree working. And I moved from that career with AC to IT in the EDI department. And so same company, moved from marketing to IT. And then my IT career took off. I moved from AC to PepsiCo in New York in IT, and then to FedEx in IT in Memphis, Tennessee. And then doing a lot of work in IT for FedEx, I decided I wanted to go to, we call it the business side, and I moved to marketing for FedEx. And I did a lot of international work, which was really, really interesting, traveling the world on behalf of FedEx and rolling out products and services. And then decided, okay, it was time for me to go back home to IT. And now I am a director in IT in Dallas, Texas, supporting the FedEx office locations around the United States. So back and forth, marketing and IT. It's doable, it's fun, and I like a lot of spice in my life, so it gives me a little bit of spice every few years to go back and forth.
Well, your resume is certainly a powerful one and filled with big name corporations. So I know that has stood out to those that have seen the impressive work that you've done throughout your career thus far. Now, next question is, were there any mentors at JSU that you relied heavily on, or have there been any throughout your career that you would like to acknowledge today?
Well, I came to JSU in 1986, and at that time, we had one African-American dean on campus. And that was Dean Watts. He was the dean of nursing. And back in, the 80s, coming from Bessemer, Alabama, to Jacksonville, Alabama, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me that were in powerful positions, if you will. And so Dean Watts was one that he inspired me as a young person striving. He inspired me to want to do more, want to be at that level, wanting to excel. And so she helped to mentor me through a lot of the process. And so I would say her, and there were a couple of teachers in the computer science area that helped to push me along. I'm sure they are not there anymore, but I think they probably know who they are. Because I wasn't, and I will share, I wasn't the A student in computer science. It was hard, and it was something that, I had to really study for. Marketing was more kind of my wheelhouse, if you will, but computer science challenged me. And so for those students that aren't necessarily the A students, there is hope. Just keep persevering and making it through to the finish line of graduation. And then you will see what you can do with that perseverance and that drive that you have to get to the finish line. That will take you far in the corporate world.
Great. And you put the drive behind it for sure in your career with both computer science and marketing. So what advice would you give a student, or would you give someone else that wants to pursue a career or pursue an academic background in computer science or marketing?
I would say, I talked a little bit about it in the previous question, but I would add to that, learn all you can and apply it to what you're looking at or what you're facing today. So many new things have come about in the world, in the technology world, from really application. So we look at things like Uber, or companies like Uber, and even Amazon. The marketplace was already out there. They just applied a different thought process, a different piece of technology. Uber, they talk about, didn't develop any of the technology that they use. Now that might have changed, but they took some GPS technology, and they took people, taxis who drive cars, and they put that together and said, okay, let's add a few more features and we have the Uber experience. And so the application of what you learn is so important. So don't just go through the motions of doing the work and taking the test and learning the material. Yes, that is absolutely important, but we have to, and when we apply it, then that's when we really, really learn it, because we know how to use it. We know why we're learning it. So for the students that are right now in the mix, I would say learn and apply. And even if you're not that A student, persevere and drive on.
That is such great advice. I can certainly relate. I had to work very hard to get the higher grades. So I know there's a lot of students out there that need to hear that advice. Thank you for sharing that. What skills are essential, as I'm sure that there are students that are very interested in working for FedEx and the corporation? What essential skills would you like to share that are essential in having a career with FedEx that you have learned during your career there?
I think that I would start with, when you're entry level, there are a certain set of skills that you need. But as you grow in your career, there are other skills that you layer on, or they take precedence over others. So let me just share. In entry level, when you're coming right out of college, you need to be technically sound. Whether you're going into IT or marketing or business, you need to have an understanding of your discipline, and again, how to apply what you know to the marketplace. And so you need to be really, really good at your job. You need to have your, again, technical skills, your business skills, um, and project management skills are really important. Even when you're talking about marketing projects, you've got to know, you've got to work with agencies, you've got to create your plan. So project management is great, because everything is on a timeline in the business world. But as you go up your career, as you progress to leadership levels, your leadership skills and your people skills come into play more. In my role, I don't develop code anymore, but I have teams of developers. And so my leadership skills and my people skills, and my strategy, my strategic skills, are more in the forefront later in my career. But earlier in my career, it was my technical skills, my business skills, my project management skills that were at the forefront. So I think you need all of those skills, but at different parts or points in your career, they play a bigger role.
Definitely. I think that's some great advice. Definitely some great skills that we need to implement in our careers. So thank you for sharing that. I'd like to ask, I know that you're very engaged with us in career services, and we definitely appreciate you. And that you're engaged with the JSU Alumni Relations Office. So how would you encourage other alumni or encourage students to get involved with career services or the Alumni Relations Office?
I would say it's quite interesting. Career services, for me, has been, when I started my career at JSU, was a part of my process. Because when I started JSU, my mother is a retired educator, and I thought I wanted to be an educator. But my mom said, no, don't be an educator. Do something different. We've had that in the family already. So back when I went to Career Services, back then we had a book or several books that you can look up careers. We didn't have the computers and like that, like we have them today. We didn't have the internet, if you will. We did have computers. But I went and looked in the book and I was like, okay, here are all the careers that I could possibly have. And I picked computer information services. So career services has always been a part of my journey, the career services at JSU. And so from there, I decided, okay, I'm going to do computer science. But I apparently really love the marketing classes. And so I took a lot of marketing classes as my electives. And then with my counselor, we said, okay, you can get a dual degree. You have enough credit to get a dual degree. So students should partner with the career services and their counselors to make sure that they're making decisions about their college career that are beneficial to them. Had I not had that partnership, I might not have known if you take 2 more marketing classes, you can get a dual degree. And so I think it's a partnership that needs to form. There's a lot of information at Career Services. There's a lot of help you can get with your resumes. When you come out of college, your resume should be tight, and you should be interviewing and looking at the job boards and doing all of those things because the help is there. It's a part of your tuition. So use them because they have a great service at JSU Career Services.
I love to hear stories like that. The research that I've done shows that this office has been in operation since 1977 here at JSU. And so I'm always curious to hear the stories of alumni that come through and have utilized the services and their experience. And I want to also thank you for your continued support to not only JSU, but to Career Services with our partnership that we have with the Black Alumni Chapter, the scholarships that you've been the scholarship funds that you've raised is so very impressive and so very critical for our students. So I just want to say thank you very much for that. I know you are not necessarily on campus when we have the Diversity Workforce Recruitment Fair, which is spearheaded by our Black Alumni Chapter and is a very successful event. Career Services is just the support. We're here to orchestrate, and so that has been a very productive event. And so thank you for your leadership in that regard. Is there anything else, as we close up this interview, is there anything else that you want to share with our students, with our JSU family, with any listeners that may be tuning in today?
Actually, I have been on campus for both of the diversity workforce career fairs that we have had. And I have been happy to see the students come out and be a part of that event. I would like more students to come out. It doesn't matter, although it's spearheaded by the Black Alumni Chapter. We want all students to be employed coming out of JSU. So we want everybody to come, and there are real companies there hiring for real jobs. And so we want everyone to come out and be a part of that. The other thing I would say is I believe that too much is given, much is required. And it doesn't always have to be money. It can be your time. Looking at resumes for students, it can be your time, sharing your experiences with students. It can be your money and funding for scholarships to help students. But it can also be back-end work calling about a particular cause for career services. It could be donating clothing for students to have for interview purposes. You know, there are so many ways that everyone can get involved and be a part of the change that we need to occur to help to get students over the hump and with jobs. A lot of JSU students are first-time college students, and they need some guidance to help them along the way. And you don't have to pay or anything to give guidance. You can do that, but just be involved. And so I would say for alumni, get engaged and do what you can. And for students, take advantage of career services, take advantage of the opportunities that you have at JSU, and learn and apply as much as you can. Because when you get out in the real world, that shelter of JSU is no longer there. And so you've got to be able to maneuver. And so that's what I would share.
Definitely. You have given us some great advice today that our students, our alumni, our JSU family should definitely take heed to. We want to congratulate you on being the JSU Alumna of the Year from us. So definitely congratulations on that again. If there's nothing else, this concludes our Sunday Spotlight Sunday.